What do you have?
Pain on my hands. I always have pain on anything and everything.
I know the feeling.
This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. On the second half of today's show, we'll be highlighting the sound of music being performed at Different Stages Theater in Huntington. But first, my good friend Larry Wardlaw and Vicki Junkwright are joining me to talk about one of Fort Wayne's most anticipated events, the Covington Art Fair. Larry and Vicki, welcome to Arts Weekly. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Larry, you've been dealing with the Covington Art Fair since its inception, I think,
We started
correct?
the art fair 22 years ago as part of a effort to promote the Plaza, Covington Plaza Shopping Center, and to bring more people there. And the show began with a small group of artists and has grown over this many years to, we'll have 85 artists this year.
Well, you say we. What does that mean, we?
Well, we as the agency, we're the producer of the show.
And that agency is?
Is Asher Advertising Agency.
And what do you do with Asher?
I'm the account service person there, our direct account service, and that means working collaboratively with our creative team and with our clients to help bring the message or the product or the public relations activity to the audience. So
right.
it's a interesting and fun.
I always think of the account services guy as the guy who does everything, puts out the fires, helps create the fires,
frequently
the go-to person.
Yes, holds
the artist's
a few hands.
Absolutely.
It's always
holds
a fun
the client's
weekend.
Hands,
Absolutely.
Gets the talent. Absolutely. How long have you been with Asher?
30 years this summer.
Well, you're a native Fort Wayne.
I'm a native Fort Waynian.
Yes, and you have a degree from?
From IPFW.
Yes. Notice how I'm drawing these out,
You're
Vicki.
getting these
I'm
important
getting
questions
these little
out.
promos out for
The
IPFW.
theater degree from
Theater degree.
Theater
Here we go.
degree.
Just continue to draw that out as much as I can.
And I can safely say, without sounding like a commercial, that it was a wonderful opportunity for me to take it into a number of careers. And so I think that's the joy of having a degree that you can use in many different ways.
Absolutely, yeah. Lots of theater majors that I know have careers that are not necessarily in the theater, but
right.
certainly they were buoyed by that original degree.
For sure.
Vicki, welcome to Arts Weekly.
Thank you.
You were one of the artists in the Covington Art Fair this year.
Yes.
How long have you had a relationship with the fair?
Oh, I think I've been there at least 20 years, probably 22. I don't know. I don't think that way. I don't count years.
At a certain point in our lives, we stop counting them.
We just stop counting
yes,
those
I think
things.
at this table, we're not counting years. Good. And now it's a different kind of art fair in that it's juried, which is kind of not usual when it comes to summer art fairs or summer festivals. Tell us a little bit about that process, Larry.
Well, I think as Vicki knows, as one of the juried artists, that it's, and some of the larger fairs do frequently jury the show, because what it does is give us an opportunity to bring not a new variety of artists, but to also encourage existing artists to return from previous years. But I think jurying the show gives it a level that we want to keep the show at a certain fine art level. And this is no criticism of other shows and some of the smaller markets and fairs where they may have a variety of craft items or other kinds of things. But this truly is a fine arts show.
Right.
And it's work that is produced by the artist, actually. And that's a big difference too. It's not manufactured. This is work that the artists create.
For our viewers, tell them what it means to be juried. What's that process?
That process is that we have in most cases this year, Charles Shepard from the museum and Amanda were able, his assistant, were review all of the artwork. It's submitted, and they jury the show by selecting for us who should be in the show.
Because they want a certain standard.
Exactly.
If they're going to jury it, they understand what the Covington standard is, and that's why they're reviewing it in advance. Correct?
Absolutely.
So how many submissions would you say that Covington usually gets?
Around 150 or so. And then we have this year about 85 artists in the show. So it's a selected show, but it also is part of the, we have a lot of great artists that submit, and sometimes they're not in the show because we have too many jewelers or too many artists in photography or pottery. And
so
that
there's a
kind of
commercial
thing.
element that the juror and the team needs to keep in mind, that
Exactly.
you want to have a varied show for your guests that are coming to purchase, that they don't get overwhelmed with just jewelry.
I think, Vicki, wouldn't you say, I think that's really important?
Yes, it is.
And is it regional? Is it
It's
just
actually,
local, or?
it's regional primarily, but we have artists as far away as Georgia and Florida, Colorado, some East Coast. So there are what I call, and Vicki knows these folks really well too, they're kind of like gypsies. They travel the circuit in the summer and fall to shows, and they travel around the country, and they submit their application to be in the show, and in this case, if they were juried in our show, we've selected them, and they'll show up with a trailer and hauling all of their stuff in an RV.
I've seen them. The Three Rivers Festival has a lot of that because it's more crafts than certain Covington Art Fair is not a craft fair, whereas the Three Rivers Fair is certainly more crafts, and these people travel. It's amazing. Every weekend they're somewhere in the Midwest with this truck full of stuff. Vicki, you're a local artist.
Yes.
And how long have you been in Fort Wayne?
Well, I grew up here. I haven't always lived here, but pretty much most of my life.
And what's your art beginning? Where did you start in the arts?
Probably all the recyclables and things I could find at home at an early age. I mean, my mom pacified us. We didn't have a TV and we didn't have VCRs, and I know I'm sounding really old, but I actually did art for entertainment.
Right.
I was the middle child, so it was easy to just give me a bunch of supplies in a drawer, and I was happy. So I think from early on, it was just I enjoyed doing this. And then I went to the art school, Fort Wayne Art School.
Right. That was downtown.
And it eventually became IU, but I ran a children's art camp for 18 years called APE, and it was Art and PE, and that took me down the track of teaching. I was doing commercial art, I was doing this art camp in the summer, and then pretty soon I got a school saying, hey, would you teach a few classes for us? So that started my 21-year relationship with Canterbury High School and teaching classes with them. But just only doing a few classes has allowed me to do my art, not just facilitate it as an instructor. And that has been, for me, a very valuable thing.
It also sounds like you've moved through mediums. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm very intrigued in doing art. I'm like a cheerleader for art, for kids and people. I really believe everybody should have an art form in their life. Just a way to get to the zone and release stress and just have something that you do to nurture you. I think today too many people are entertained by gifted people, other people doing stuff. And I think that's great, but unfortunately they don't get the value of, I want to say, like the silence inside when you finally get to do something, whether it's music or it can be any form of art. It's so important to nurture your soul through this. And everybody kind of thinks it's the chosen few that can do this, and they're missing the point.
Right.
It's the process that's the most valuable.
And what is your current medium? You've got
Acrylics.
Acrylics.
I've always been in love with, well, I haven't always. In the late 60s and 70s, they were not good, but they're fabulous now.
But you have something called botanical art that we learned in our research. Can you talk a little bit? Is that what's going to be in the
That's
Covington
what I'm
show?
doing. Yeah, I'm pretty much doing outdoor art.
Okay.
So they're on aluminum, and they can be hung in, entrances and areas.
Let's go to a couple of the
know.
images we have of your art so you can help us
know,
understand what that is. So what are we looking at here?
I don't know what you're looking at. Okay. That's just kind of an abstract, but it's a large piece, and it's actually so lightweight you can actually put it on places you wouldn't think of, like a refrigerator door or a garage door going from, like so many people walk through your garage and you've got this ugly door. You throw something like a piece of art on there and it totally changes the energy level of that entrance.
So then the term botanical art isn't necessarily what you're using to make it. It's the
Well,
idea that it's an
It
outdoor
is, because I am using actual leaves
Oh,
and
you
things
are?
of that sort
Okay.
in the process.
Oh, all right.
So that was kind of my term
Okay.
that I started. It was like, okay, this series is this, and I've been playing around with this technique for a few years, and I haven't quite. I'm still intrigued with it. I'm still finding new ways to use it.
Right. Larry, since Vicki has been with the art fair for a while, is there any grandfathering that goes on? Because I would imagine that your customers are thinking, I got to see what Vicki's doing this year.
Absolutely. And about 30 to 40% of our show is exempt, and by that we mean that they are exempt from the jurying process because they've been with us for a number of years, and they are automatically, and Vicki's one of those, automatically included in our show because, as you suggest, a lot of our certainly local and regional artists have a following,
Right.
and they look forward to finding Vicki and all the other artists that weekend because they know they're going to see a whole display that have an opportunity to shop, and it's all right there in one place.
Right, and artists like to bring new material, and they've been working for a whole year on it because
Exactly.
the festival is only an annual festival. What are the dates of the festival?
They're June 21st and 22nd.
This Saturday
This
and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5 on Saturday and 11 to 4 on Sunday.
Located where?
In Covington Plaza, which is just on the near west side, West Jefferson, west side of town. Some of the landmarks probably are Fresh Market, Office Depot, and of course all of our fine merchants that you
Right.
might know there that are located there.
And
So
the merchants kind of participate.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a mutual
it's a good
beneficial
energy.
to-
A lot of
yeah.
our merchants will put things on the actual sidewalks outside their stores, and we're on the booths are just right across from them. So it's a nice mix. A lot of the dress shops and other shops have all their fine wares out there, and it's a nice feeling. It's got a nice atmosphere.
Well, I remember that when I went the first time, I forgot sunscreen, and it's a long day to be out enjoying that great art because there's a lot of wonderful artists. And I would have to say that it's probably, as you said, it's a fine art show. And that's important for our viewers to understand that it's not a craft show, and so the dollar price might be a little bit higher, but we're talking about a real fine art show that just happens to be outside for the weekend.
Exactly.
It's really celebrated and well attended. So thank you both for joining me on Arts Weekly. I look forward to this weekend, and I can't wait to see the outdoor botanical art.
Thank you.
I'll see you this weekend. Thanks for joining me.
John.
Please take this minute to view our performance calendar of what's coming up, and I'll be right back to hear all about the Sound of Music with the Different Stages Theater of Huntington. We'll be right back. The Sound of Music is one of the classics of American musical theater, and a new production featuring professional and local actors opens July 8th at Different Stages Theater in Huntington. Director Joel Froomkin and actress Lauren Lukacek are here to share some details about this audience favorite, and one of my favorites, I have to admit. Welcome, Joel. Welcome, Lauren, to Arts Weekly. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, sir. Thank you.
Joel, it's so great to have you on Arts Weekly.
It's great to be back.
It's your first time since I've been hosting that you've been
true.
on, and I'm
That
so
is
glad
true.
to have you because I'm just a fan of what you're doing out at Huntington.
Thank you so much.
It's incredible what you've done in 7 years. Let's back up a little bit and tell everybody about what you've achieved in 7 years and what brought you here.
Well, 7 years ago, my partner Rich and I began with this idea of starting a theater company, and we looked all over the country for a place that might be a good venue. And finally, we found this beautiful 100-year-old vaudeville house in Huntington, Indiana, where I had never been to Indiana. It was a total leap of faith. And we have ourselves, over 7 years, as we have saved pennies and doing 99% of the labor in-house, we have transformed this old venue into finally a 300 and some seat main stage auditorium for musical theater, which was the dream. And so after 7 years, this is the show.
I can attest to that.
Yes.
That work that you've done, because for 7 years.
The paint is on my,
the paint is on your hands, the hammering,
the scars,
I've had
three
the good,
broken ribs.
I've had, really?
Yep.
I've had the good fortune to go out to your shows when you had them in your lobby. You finished the lobby first, and you had some wonderful reviews that you did there, and then you were nice enough to give me the backstage tour of what was happening, and gosh darn it, you guys just tore that thing down by yourselves, and of course Rich's mother
Rich's mom, who is
involved in it as much as anybody
last time I
else.
was on, I said she was 65, and I have never been forgiven because
you never
she
have.
is not.
She's not at all.
Yeah,
But
no.
she's terrific. You guys have done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's just a dream come true for you. And when I was there last time and saw that great creative ceiling you put in that Rich brought pictures to last time he was on. Great answer to could be a difficult problem, but you really solved it.
We're really proud of the space, and the community's reaction. They have such fond memories of what it was. Is just overwhelming when they walk in and see and appreciate all the love that's been put in.
They've really embraced you.
Oh,
I mean, in your
absolutely.
first or second year, you guys were named
We were named Citizens of the
Citizens
Year.
of the Year. Really,
we've got Main Street Indiana Business of the Year, and so we've been very lucky.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we'll get to Sound of Music. Lauren, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Is this your first time to Fort Wayne and to Huntington?
It is my first time to Fort Wayne. I'm from the Midwest though, so I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, you're from where?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin originally.
Okay. And you're trained in the theater, of course.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about that background.
When I was 18, I went to Boston and I got a degree, a BFA in musical theater at the Boston Conservatory. And then I fulfilled my life stream of moving to New York City, and I've been in Manhattan for the last 5.5 years.
Great. Well, I made it 10 years, and then I just couldn't take it any
They
longer.
say it takes 7 years to become a true New Yorker.
I think it probably does take about 7 years. And at the cost of living now, let's cut off a year and you can have
Right,
6.
exactly,
Make it through
exactly.
6. And Joel has spent a lot of time there too. Your education's from NYU. Tell us a little bit about that.
I taught at NYU.
Okay.
I was a USC man.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I taught at Tisch for a while, and I was when I was in New York, I was assisting and directing there, and won Best Director on the Fringe, and so yeah, we were New Yorkers too.
Yeah, yeah. I must say that Joel taught for us for a couple years, and we're sorry to see him go, but now you are teaching at Manchester.
I am, and what's been really exciting about Sound of Music is we're creating with, and the hope is as this professional company grows, we're really trying to make connections happen with IPFW Theater and with Manchester. We have our ensemble nuns, for instance, are from their music department. We've hired a wonderful actor that I discovered at IPFW named Nick Tash, who's since located to Chicago and is coming back for us. Jeff Moore, who used to teach for you, is playing one of our supporting roles and is a lovely, lovely actor, super talented.
Yeah, he's a native. Lots of people know Jeff Moore from his work in town. Yeah,
so
he has an MFA in
it's
acting.
exciting as we grow to be able to, encourage talent and give them a place where they can get some experience and work with professionals. So that's been really exciting. I'm really glad that I had that experience with you in that department. And I called up Craig and said, "Who do you think?" Craig Humphrey, and said, "Who do you think would be interested in this?" And so it's exciting.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we happy to keep that relationship going.
Absolutely.
It was one of the things we arrived at the same time in 2007, and when I heard you were doing that, it was my hope that IPFW could continue to have a professional relationship with you, because how many academic units have a professional theater 30 miles down the road? So congratulations. Okay, so you have a lobby where you do musical reviews on, literally, Lauren, you weren't there, but it was a 4x8 stage.
I heard all about it.
You've heard all about it. And you picked The Sound of Music, Joel. What?
Well,
out of the gate.
We decided to go big or go home.
Exactly.
And it was funny because it was the New Huntington Supper Club, as you know, before,
Right.
and we wanted to transition into a full theater-focused venue. And we realized we couldn't call it the New Huntington Get Supper Somewhere Else Club.
No, you
That would be
couldn't.
awkward.
Please, yeah.
And because of that sort of transition and the baby steps we've taken towards this leap, that's where Different Stages came from as the new umbrella of producing. But we wanted something that would help an audience feel comfortable with taking the risk of discovering what we had to offer.
Right.
So we wanted something that would intrigue them, that was safe as a title, but yet that we really passionately felt we could bring something unique to.
Right.
And we feel like we have a really a very text-based approach to the piece, which I'm really excited about.
Well, you know, coming from the theater, I can tell you there's 3 titles that will sell: Sound of Music, Oliver, My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
Do any one of those,
Right.
you're going to sell lots and lots of
Right.
tickets.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to start, to get people in. I agree, to get people to sort of meet your theater for the first time.
And
You'll
it
get a
will
lot
kill
of
us in
new
the
audience.
process. We are
Well,
exhausted.
you know, welcome to the theater.
It's huge.
If you haven't been killed now, you get a long way. And you've been brought as a professional actress to play
Maria
the
Rayner.
the great part, the great
Yes.
coveted part.
One of my dream roles.
Is it?
I'm
Yeah.
so excited that I finally get to bring this role to life. It's you know, every kid grows up wanting to play Maria.
Absolutely.
So I feel very lucky.
And you've never played it.
I never have, no.
So this is it.
This
Wow.
is it. This is my shot.
Fantastic.
And we worked hard to get her. She was submitted to us, but Lauren has worked at some very prestigious theaters, and you know we were new, so
Right.
so it's her agent was like, but we were very lucky.
Right.
We have a mutual friend named Bill Nolte who
We
I
do.
dialect coached for his work on The Producers on Broadway.
Yep. He's had 11 Broadway shows.
And Bill sort of went to bat for us with Lauren and said, he's
Go out
an
to the
okay
hinterland.
guy. Yeah, and we are. When I say she is world class, it is not. She is
Well,
stunning.
if you studied at the Boston Conservatory, I'm sure that you are. And I also know that one of Joel's favorite go-to programs is the Boston
It is
Conservatory.
indeed.
So
Oh, I
I'm
had no
not
clue.
surprised that he got you. So
Well, thank you.
it's a dream role, but it's still challenging, yes?
Oh, it is because it's been done so many times, and everyone has the iconic role of Julie Andrews to live up to, and so we really work together. We're trying to make it a unique, real take on who Maria really was, and we both read her story that she wrote. So I could really get to the heart of who Maria was, and she was not. We were talking about how she's not perfect and proper and prim. She was very get down on her knees and climb up the mountain, and she was on the ground with the kids, and I love that about her, that she's not perfect. She is very human, and I can relate to that.
Often when you see actresses play her, they're actually playing Mary Poppins. and when she is first described, she climbs a tree and scrapes her knee.
Right.
You need to create a woman, a girl. She was
Right.
18,
Right.
who really is believable as doing that. She's a tomboy. She's much more Anne of Green Gables than she is Mary Poppins.
And has the strong arm to take on 7 children.
Exactly.
I mean, that
Yeah.
takes a personality, 18 or not, to take
Really.
on 7 children.
It
so
does,
there's a
and-
personality behind it that's pretty strong and pretty
Yeah.
driven.
Exactly.
and
it's-
him.
Right.
And him.
And a captain.
Right. Now, how long have you been here? Or how long have you been in rehearsal?
This is my third day today.
Third day.
Yes.
Welcome on
I know.
television.
I know, here I am.
You
Welcome
should be
to
in
New York.
rehearsal, but we expect you to be on television in the third day, knowing all about it. And you open when?
We open on July 8th and run until the 27th. So it's a lengthy run.
It is.
And the reason for that is we really want to try and give people a chance to get word of mouth going and discover us. And so
The contact information is, ticket information is 260-454-0603, 260-454-0603, or www.different-stages.com. And they can get tickets online.
they can, or they can call our box office.
Right.
And they will love it.
Okay.
I guarantee.
Yes.
Before we're done, I do want to hear about the rest of your season because you have a
We're
whole season planned.
following it. We're following Sound of Music in August with a hilarious play called Moonlight and Magnolias that is based on the true story of David O. Selznick shutting down production on Gone with the Wind because he was unhappy with how it was going. And he brought in one of Hollywood's top screenwriters, Ben Hecht, and the guy who was in the middle of directing Wizard of Oz, locked them in his office for 5 days and made them rewrite Gone with the Wind. It is very, very, very funny. And
How large is the cast?
That's 4.
Yeah, see,
cast of
this
4.
is what you do. You go from 26 to 4 because
Yes.
you can pay 4 more than you can pay 26. Such a smart producer.
Very smart.
And they all get their own room.
That's right.
And then in the fall, we're doing the Full Monty.
My favorite, one of my favorites. I
I'm
directed
sure it is,
Yes,
John.
I directed it. That's why.
And it's such a heartwarming show.
It is.
And people mistakenly think that it's going to be just raunchy.
Yeah,
and
no, not at all.
It is heart and
all
funny and smart and beautiful. And then we'll be returning to our holiday supper club format for a Christmas review. And then we'll figure out the future from there.
Well, congratulations. I'm so
Thank
excited for
you.
you. You will see me at your front door.
Oh, thank
I'll
you,
be there
sir.
to support you. Lauren, welcome to Fort Wayne and Huntington. I know you have a great time playing one of the best roles in American musical theater.
Thank you so
And I know
much.
you do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being on Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Tune in next time on Arts Weekly when Charles Shepard of the Fort Wayne Museum of Art talks about the 42nd Annual International Glass Invitational opening June 28th. Then Mark Fennessy will be here to we'll hear all about his steampunk sculpture. For up-to-the-minute arts updates, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And be sure to join us here Thursday evenings at 7:30 on PBS 39. Thanks for watching Arts Weekly.